Total Preparation Jankipuram Lucknow welcomes you all to its online program.
Friends, in this video we would be discussing the current affairs topics from 6th of June till 12th of June. Let's quickly begin with the first question. Which state has recently launched an online waste management platform for the management of liquid waste, hazardous and non-hazardous solid waste and air pollutants? The correct answer to this question is Andhra Pradesh. On the World Environment Day, that is on 5th of June 2020, Government of Andhra Pradesh has launched an online waste management platform for the management of liquid waste, hazardous and non-hazardous solid waste and air pollutants. This platform will be operated by Andhra Pradesh Environment Management Corporation (APEMC). Moreover, it will also be responsible for the safe disposal of all the industrial waste generated in the state. This waste will be differentiated as hazardous, non-hazardous or e-waste according to different categories, red and orange, and will be disposed of scientifically at various waste disposal centers. The APEMC will work closely with the Andhra Pradesh Pollution Control Board for waste disposal, which will include a robust regulatory framework to manage waste from industries to disposal centers. It should be noted that APEMC was established by the Government of Andhra Pradesh under the Ministry of Environment through a government order on 5th of December 2019. Which initiative was launched by R.K. Singh, the Union Power Minister, Minister of State Independent in Charge, on the World Environment Day? The name of this initiative is #ICommit. Union Minister of Power launched the #ICommit initiative on 5th of June 2020 on the occasion of World Environment Day. This initiative will encourage all the stakeholders and individuals to move towards energy efficiency and renewable energy in order to build a robust and flexible energy system in the future. This initiative was launched by Energy Efficiency Services Limited (EESL) under the Ministry of Power, Government of India, in order to bring together the governments, companies, multilateral and bilateral organizations, think tanks and individuals etc. on a single platform. EESL is an energy services company of the Government of India and is the world's largest public ESCO. It was formed in the year 2009 and comes under the Ministry of Power, Government of India. It should be noted that the Ministry of Power started functioning independently from 2nd of July 1992. Earlier, it was known as the Ministry of Energy Sources. Electricity comes under the concurrent list. It is mentioned as entry 38 in the list 3 of the 7th schedule in the Constitution of India. Let's move on to our next question. Which initiative was launched by EESL and USAID in partnership with the aim of making workplaces clean and green on the occasion of World Environment Day? The answer to this question is healthy and energy efficient buildings. On June 5th, 2020, the World Environment Day, EESL, which is also called Energy Efficiency Services Limited, and USAID, US Agency for International Development, launched an initiative by the name of Healthy and Energy Efficient Buildings in collaboration with its Maitri program. The main objective of this initiative was to make the workplaces clean and greener. This initiative started under the Market Integration and Transformation Program for Energy Efficiency, MAITRI. MAITRI is a part of the US-India bilateral partnership between the Ministry of Power, Government of India and USAID. It aims to accelerate the adoption of cost-effective energy efficiency as a standard practice within the buildings and specifically focuses on the cooling of the buildings. USAID is an independent agency of the United States federal government which is primarily responsible for civilian foreign aid and development assistance. Which state does Ridhima Pandey, a climate activist who started the Saal Bhar 60 campaign on the 60th day of lockdown, belong to? The answer to this question is Uttarakhand. The Saal Bhar campaign was launched recently on the 60th day of lockdown by Ridhima Pandey, a 12-year-old climate activist from Haridwar. The campaign was launched through a video released by a website, jhatka.org. Through this campaign, the government is demanding measures to ensure the PM 2.5 level of 60 micrograms per cubic meter in the cities, which is a safe limit set by the Central Pollution Control Board throughout the day. Which international financial institution has released its most significant global economic prospects report? The name of the international financial institution is the World Bank. Global Economic Prospects Report is a major report of the World Bank. According to this report, India's economy is projected to decrease by 3.2% in the current financial year 2020-21. It also predicts that the Indian economy would grow at 3.1% in the next financial year. In its previous report, released in the month of April, the GDP growth rate for this financial year was predicted from 1.5% to 2.8%. This report also states that the global economy will shrink by 5.2% in 2020. Which country has recently confirmed a free trade agreement with the European Union? The name of the country is Vietnam. One of the developing countries of Asia, Vietnam has recently confirmed a free trade agreement with the European Union. The MPs approved the EU-Vietnam Free Trade Agreement (EVFTA) in its National Assembly. It has been described as the EU's most ambitious deal with a developing country. Under this agreement, the European Union will remove 85% of its tariffs on Vietnamese goods and will also cut other tariffs in the next 7 years. Vietnam, on the other hand, will withdraw 49% of its import duties on EU exports. It is important to note that the seafood exported by India to the EU is most likely to decline this year, as the free trade agreement between Vietnam and the European Union has become India's largest competitor in this export. Which year was the safest in the history of Indian Railways so far, with zero passenger mortality for the first time? 2019-20. According to a statement issued by the Indian Railways, Railways have created the best safety record during the period of April 2019 to March 2020, as no railway passenger was killed in a train accident during this period. This achievement is the first of its kind since 1853, when the Indian railway system was introduced in the country. Around 1,274 manned level crossings have been eliminated in 2019-20, which is the highest count ever. Let's move on to our next question. Which state or union territory has started an online labor employment exchange for migrant workers? The name of the state is Rajasthan. Mr. Ashok Gehlot, the Chief Minister of Rajasthan, has recently started Raj Kaushal Portal, an online labor employment exchange, through video conferencing. This initiative will enable migrant laborers who have lost their livelihood, as well as provide suitable manpower to industries facing labor shortage. This portal has been developed by the State Department of IT, Rajasthan Skill and Livelihood Development Corporation. The data of about 53 lakh workers and 11.18 lakh industries is available on the portal. Which sport was Hamza Koya, the India's veteran player who passed away recently due to COVID-19, associated with? So Hamza Koya was associated with football. The former footballer from Kerala, Hamza Koya, recently passed away due to COVID-19. He represented Maharashtra in the Santosh Trophy. He was also a member of the national team in the Nehru Trophy. He was given plasma therapy but died at the age of 61. Which institution organized an annual art show by the name of Naimisha? The name of the institution is National Gallery of Modern Art. National Gallery of Modern Art, NGMA, New Delhi, functions as a subordinate office of the Department of Culture, Government of India. NGMA has two branches, one in Mumbai and the other one is in Bangalore. NGMA is the Museum of Cultural Philosophy of the country. It has announced to organize the Summer Art Program Online Naimisha 2020 from 8th of June to 3rd of July 2020. This month-long online program is an initiative of NGMA New Delhi, where participants get an opportunity to practice and learn from the artists. 4 inclusive workshops are planned by NGMA to increase the virtual reach of its audience. The titles of these workshops are Painting Workshop, Sculpture Workshop, Printmaking, and Indrajal. The Indrajal is the magic of art. It is an interdisciplinary creative workshop to understand freedom. Director General of NGMA, Mr. Advait Charan Garnayak, said, "As the Director General of the National Gallery of Modern Art, I strongly believe that museums should be made accessible to the common people in a virtual way." When is the World Food Safety Day celebrated every year? It is celebrated on 7th of June. World Food Safety Day is observed every year on 7th of June to draw global attention to the negative effects of contaminated food and water on our health. The purpose of celebrating this day is to create awareness to maintain safe food standards and reduce the death rate due to foodborne diseases. The theme of World Food Safety Day for the year 2020 is Food Safety, Everyone's Business. WFSD was celebrated for the first time in 2019 under the theme The Future of Food Safety by Addis Ababa Conference and Geneva Forum to strengthen the commitment on food security scale. 2 United Nations agencies, Food and Agriculture Organization (FAO) and World Health Organization (WHO) are working to promote food security standards all over the world. Which state government has recently started Spandan Abhiyan to reduce the incidence of suicide and fratricide related to police personnel? The answer to this question is Chhattisgarh. The government of Chhattisgarh has recently launched Spandan Abhiyan to prevent incidents of suicide and fratricide related to police personnel. Under this campaign, superintendents of police will start a parade in their districts every Friday. After this, complaints of police personnel will be resolved. Also, the treatment and counseling of depressed officers has been made mandatory. Under this campaign, yoga classes will also be arranged for the police personnel at all district headquarters. Cooperation of local yoga teachers has been sought for conducting these classes. Simultaneously, the superintendents of police have been instructed to regularly visit police stations and arrange recreational activities. It should be noted that in the last 2 years, more than 50 police personnel have committed suicide in Chhattisgarh. When is the World Oceans Day celebrated? World Oceans Day is celebrated on 8th of June. The United Nations celebrates World Oceans Day on 8th of June every year. The theme of the day this year is Innovation for a Sustainable Ocean. The purpose of this day is to raise global awareness about the benefits obtained from the sea. Many countries started celebrating this day since 1992 after the United Nations Conference on Environment and Development held in Rio de Janeiro, Brazil. In 2008, the United Nations General Assembly decided that 8th of June would be celebrated as World Ocean Day every year starting from 2009. In 2017, a conference by the name of Agenda 2030 was organized to support the implementation of Sustainable Development Lakshya 14 in the Agenda 2030, whose main theme was conservation and sustainable utilization of oceans, seas, and marine resources for sustainable development. Which global organization along with NCERT has prepared a booklet titled Safe Online Learning in the Times of COVID-19? The name of the organization is UNESCO. Union Minister of Human Resource and Development Ramesh Pokhriyal Nishank has launched a information booklet titled Safe Online Learning in the Times of COVID-19. This booklet has been developed jointly by NCERT and UNESCO to raise awareness of students and teachers on staying safe online. Which language day is celebrated by the United Nations on 6th of June to mark the birthday of the famous poet Alexander Pushkin? This day is Russian Language Day. Russian Language Day is celebrated by the United Nations on 6th of June every year. It was established in 2010 by UNESCO. It is celebrated on Alexander Pushkin's birthday. He was a famous Russian poet and is known as the father of modern Russian literature. He published his first poem when he was just 15 years old. He was born in Moscow. Pushkin's most famous poem was Ode to Liberty. The member countries of the G20 group have committed to raise how many $1 billion to combat the COVID-19 pandemic? So the amount is $21 billion. The G20 group member countries recently committed to raise more than $21 billion to combat COVID-19 pandemic. This group has synergized global efforts being made at various levels in order to deal with COVID-19 pandemic. This $21 billion fund will be used in research and development, vaccines, medical science and diagnostics related to COVID-19. Earlier, the G20 group had talked about releasing more than $5 trillion fund for the global economy to deal with COVID-19 at the end of March 2020. After the financial crisis of 1997, it was decided that the major economies of the world should come together on a single platform to maintain balance in the global economy. It is important that the G20 group represents 85% of the global GDP, 75% of the global trade, 80% of the global investment, and 2/3 of the world's population. The G20 acts as a platform and not as an organization. Hence, it has no permanent secretariat and administrative structure. According to the data of National Tiger Conservation Authority (NTCA), which Indian state has the highest number of tiger deaths? The answer to this question is Madhya Pradesh. According to the recent data published by the National Tiger Conservation Authority (NTCA), 750 tigers have died in the country in the last 8 years. Of the total deaths, 369 were due to natural causes and 168 due to poaching. The state of Madhya Pradesh has the highest number of 173 tigers killed, followed by Maharashtra. The data also states that between 2012 and 2019, 101 tigers were seized by various authorities across the country. The total tiger population in the country was 2976 in December 2019, of which the tiger population in Madhya Pradesh was the highest at 526. It is important to note that the International Tiger Day is celebrated every year on 29th of July with the aim of spreading awareness for conservation against the rapidly decreasing number of tigers all over the world. Who has been appointed as India's ambassador and permanent representative to the World Trade Organization? Brajendra Navneet. Brajendra Navneet, a 1999 batch IS officer, has been appointed as India's ambassador and permanent representative to the World Trade Organization for a period of 3 years. Prior to this appointment, he was serving as a Joint Secretary in the Prime Minister's office and will now serve in the Permanent Mission of India (PMI) at Geneva-based World Trade Organization. The Appointments Committee of the Cabinet also allowed the appointment of IRTS officer Anwar Hussain Sheikh for the post of Councillor in PMI for 3 years. Who became the first Indian women entrepreneur to win EY World Entrepreneur of the Year 2020 award? Kiran Mazumdar-Shaw. EY stands for Ernst & Young. Kiran Mazumdar-Shaw is currently the executive chair of Bicon. The award has been given to 46 entrepreneurs from 41 countries, including Kiran Mazumdar-Shaw of India. She has become the second woman in the world and the first woman entrepreneur and third Indian to receive this award in the history of 20 years of this award. Previously, this award was given to Uday Kotak of Kotak Mahindra Bank in 2014 and NR Narayan Murthy of Infosys in 2005. It should be noted that the world's first female entrepreneur to win the EY World Entrepreneur of the Year award was Olivia Lum, the CEO of Hyflux Limited, Singapore, who was given this award in the year 2011. Where is the Cayman Islands located? It is located in Western Caribbean. According to the Department of Promotion of Industry and Internal Trade, DPIIT, Cayman Island has emerged as the fifth largest investor in India. Foreign direct investment from the island has tripled to $3.7 billion in 2019-20 from $1 billion in 2018-19 and $1.23 billion in 2017-18. Most importantly, the FDI from Cyprus to India has also increased almost 3 times from $296 million in 2018-19 to $879 million in 2019-20. In the year 2017-18, it was $417 million. Cayman Island is an autonomous British diaspora in the Western Caribbean Sea, which is spread over an area of 264 square kilometers. The island consists of 3 islands named Grand Cayman, Cayman Brac, and Little Cayman. The capital city of the island is Georgetown, which is located on Grand Cayman Islands and is the most populous of the 3 islands. The Dehing Patkai Elephant Reserve, which was in much discussion on social media due to issues related to coal mining, is located in which state or union territory of India? It is located in Assam. The Dehing Patkai Elephant Reserve of Assam has been in considerable discussion on social media recently due to issues related to coal mining. This reserve was in limelight when the National Board of Wildlife approved proposal for the use of 57.20 hectares of Salki proposed reserve forest for mining by the Northeast Coal Field Company, which falls under Dehing Patkai Elephant Reserve. This elephant reserve is considered to be one of the most ecologically prosperous regions, not only in the state but also in the entire country. Dehing Patkai Wildlife Sanctuary is located in Dibrugarh and Tinsukia districts of Assam and covers 111.19 square kilometer of the area within the rainforest. It was declared a sanctuary in June 2004 and is situated in the area of Dehing Patkai rainforest. Given the importance of elephant habitat, Dehing Patkai Wildlife Sanctuary and a part of Dehing Patkai rainforest have been declared Dehing Patkai Elephant Sanctuary under the Project Elephant. The Project Elephant was launched by the Government of India in 1992 as a centrally sponsored scheme to protect the habitat of elephants, solve the problems of human-animal conflict, and for the welfare of domesticated elephants. So the Government of India aims to form how many farmer producing organizations in the next 3 years? So the count is 3,500. The Government of India plans to create 3,500 farmer producer organizations FPO in the next 3 years so that the farmers can get fair remunerative prices for their produce. Most of these FPOs will be based on the One Product, One District initiative of the Government of India. This year, the Finance Minister in her budget speech announced to help in creation of 10,000 FPOs in the next 5 years. Currently, around 5,000 FPOs are functioning in the country, out of which 910 are affiliated to Small Farmer Agri-Business Consortium SFAC, while around 3,000 come under National Bank of Agriculture and Rural Development NABARD. The remaining FPOs are being built and operated by private companies. FPOs refer to a group of farmers, especially small and marginal ones. The main objective of such organizations is to effectively address the challenges related to agriculture. FPOs also receive support from institutions such as the Government of India and NABARD. Which state has recently approved the ordinance for imprisonment and fine for cow slaughter? It is Uttar Pradesh. The Uttar Pradesh Cabinet recently approved the Prevention of Cow Slaughter Amendment Ordinance 2020, for which the Cow Slaughter Act 1955 has been amended. This amendment will help protect cows and prevent crimes related to cow slaughter. This ordinance provides for imprisonment up to 7 years for causing bodily harm to a cow and a fine of up to Rs 3 lakhs in the cases related to cow slaughter. The National Council of Educational Research and Training has signed an MOU with which foundation to broadcast e-learning content for school children. The name of the organization is Rotary India. NCERT has digitally signed a memorandum of understanding with Rotary India to broadcast e-learning content for school children. The Union Human Resource Minister Ramesh Pokhriyal Nishank was present during this event. Teaching material shall be broadcasted on all NCERT TV channels for classes 1 to 12th. Rotary International will provide e-content in Hindi language to NCERT under Vidya Dan 2.0 program. In which state is the oil well in Bagasan owned by Oil India Limited located? It is located in Assam. On 9th of June, a fierce fire broke out in Bagasan Tel Kuan, located in Tinsukia district of Upper Assam. There was an uncontrolled gas leakage from the well for the past 14 days. The Chief Minister of Assam, Sarbananand Sonowal, has spoken to the Union Home Minister Amit Shah, Defence Minister Rajnath Singh and Union Petroleum Minister Dharmendra Pradhan over the phone for immediate help in extinguishing the fire. The fire broke out in the well during a cleanup operation. a team of National Disaster Response Force (NDRF) has reached the spot. Indian Air Force and Army fire brigades are assisting in the rescue operation. Bagasan oil well is adjacent to Dibru-Saikhowa National Park, the rich biodiversity park of Assam. Experts say that this leak poses a threat to the biodiversity of the national park.
So friends, with this we come to the end of this video. Thank you so much for being with us. We have tried to include few more important questions this time, which would be really helpful for you from the point of view of upcoming competitive exams. Please do not forget to like, subscribe and share our video. In order to keep getting the updates on other current affairs related topics, please press the bell icon. Thank you.